Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from around world football this weekend. Today, I'm joined by a very groggy Patrick Van Straten after his stag do this weekend. So get your congratulations into this man in the comments right now. But Pato, other than you, who is our first winner this weekend?
Thank you very much. Barcelona have to be in straight away. They smashed Alaves 6-0 this weekend, away from home. And bear in mind that these sides have got a little bit of a grudge because they face each other in the Copa del Rey final. Now, Barcelona netted 4 goals in 8 minutes in the second half to put it out of sight. MSN all on the score sheet, and there was a goal from Rakitic and an own goal from an Alaves defender, Alexis. Now, Barcelona had 70% of possession, not terribly surprising. They had 18 shots with 9 on target, which is also a demolition. But now, 1 point behind league leaders Real Madrid. However, Real Madrid still have 2 games in hand. So it's going to take a lot for Barcelona to wrest back control. But they do have the best defensive record in the league at the moment. Only conceded 18 goals through 22 games. That's incredible stuff. And there was a little bit of downside at the end. Alex Vidal got an injury. It may leave him out for 5 months. So it doesn't look like he's going to appear for the rest of the season.
No, but Neymar finally recaptured some form in this game. So positives for Barcelona. He scored, completed 4 dribbles. That's actually the same as Lionel Messi in this game. 3 shots, 80% pass accuracy, and created 4 chances. Great to see him back to his best. Luis Suarez as well, obviously the main man, scored 2 and got 2 assists and is now the top scorer in La Liga. He's got 18 and he's got 7 assists. People forget that part of his game. He scored 1 goal every 89 minutes in the league this season for Barcelona. He's clearly their key man going forward. And that was actually his 109th goal for Barcelona in just 129 games. He's now level with Luis Enrique, his manager, who took 300 games to get to the same tally. But can Barcelona come back and defeat Real Madrid and win La Liga? Let us know what you think in the poll. Just up there in the corner. Click it. Vote. Thanks.
First up in the losers category, it's RB Leipzig, who had an absolutely horrible weekend.
Yeah, they lost 3-0 at home to Hamburg, and Bayern Munich won as well, so they now slip 7 points behind the leaders. Bayern got 2 injury time goals as well to win it, so even more devastating. That's the first time Leipzig have lost at home in this entire campaign, and they were extremely wasteful in this game. 68% possession, 15 shots. Timo Werner had 4 shots, didn't get 1 on target. And I'm going to pronounce this name, and I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong. Deo Upamecano. Pato, help me out.
That would be my guess. I have no idea.
Deo Upamecano. Oh dear. What a debut to forget. Of course, arrived from Salzburg this January. Highly coveted 18-year-old defender. Was bought off for tactical reasons after just 30 minutes. He was at fault for both of the first 2 goals from set pieces, got bullied, and they really did get undone on the set piece. 2 goals from corners for Hamburg. RB Leipzig, not a good day for them.
No, but a very good day for Hamburg. Nikolai Müller got 2 assists from corners, which shows that actually Leipzig didn't even have their set pieces on lock in this game. Papadopoulos scored again for the 2nd game running. This is a defender. And they were back-to-back games against former teams. He played for both Leverkusen and for Leipzig. Hamburg actually on a kind of great run. They got 15 points in their last 8 games. Only Bayern Munich have taken more points over that run. And this is only the 2nd time this season that Hamburg have won back-to-back Bundesliga games. As we know, for the last few years, they've been in the tank. They've had to go to that relegation playoff that we see in the Bundesliga. And actually, the first time in 6 years, they've won 3 games in a row.
Jesus
6 years, and yet they're still in the Bundesliga. How is that possible? But anyway, a fantastic result for them and a horrible day for Leipzig. You've got to be in our losers.
Our next winners for the first time in about 6 months, Pato. We're still in 6th, but we won on the weekend. Manchester United.
Yeah, 2-0 at home against Watford, a resurgent Watford, who had, of course, beaten Arsenal very, very recently and very, very depressingly. Now, United were really on top in this game. 22 shots they had. The whole team as a whole made 28 tackles. So they were really keen to win back possession, and it worked because they got 58% of the ball in this game. And Paul Pogba had 9% of the total possession in the game.
Christ.
That is a lot. And to be honest, when Pogba has that much of the ball, you can't really expect to get a result off United. They're now a point away from the top 4, though Man City, of course, play tonight. They're 2 away from second place. And bear in mind that 2nd, 3rd and 4th are all separated by goal difference. Man United are right back in the hunt for the Champions League places. Their unbeaten streak in the league is now at 16 games. It's their longest unbeaten streak since Ferguson left in 2013. And they're the first ever Premier League team to reach 2,000 points in the league altogether. So a good weekend all round for Mourinho's men.
Yeah, a good weekend in particular for one man as well, Anthony Martial. This guy has to start on the left wing for Manchester United more often. He is incredible on the ball, in particular when he's running at defenders. They just shit themselves. And on the weekend, it was no different. 3 goals and 3 assists in his last 5 appearances for Manchester United. He's incredibly influential. Obviously, there's been talk off the pitch about him potentially leaving the club, but it now looks like he's staying. Obviously, he tweeted out to say he wouldn't be going anywhere. And with 1 more goal, Manchester United will have to pay Monaco an extra €10 million. So it looks like he is going to stay. In this game, 3 dribbles, 4 shots, pass completion of 80% from the wing. That's including balls into the box. Clearly man of the match. The fans absolutely loved him. And that was given a day when Zlatan was absolutely horrible. Horrendous Zlatan. Probably one of his worst performances in years. But United still got the win. Martial got his goal. And we're back in the hunt for top 4. Still 6th first, so.
Our next losers. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad that Tottenham Hotspur are losers. Oh no, what'll I do?
Oh my goodness. The things that Liverpool did to this Tottenham backline on the weekend should be illegal, quite frankly, because it was obscene. Tottenham went to a back 4, of course. They usually play with a back 3, and there was so much room in behind. It's lucky that Liverpool only scored 2 against them on the weekend, I'll be honest. Because in that first half, Sadio Mane was running riot. All thanks to Hugo Lloris, but they didn't concede more, quite frankly. I mean, Spurs conceded 8 shots on target in the first half. That is the most since Opta began collecting data back in 2004. And away from home against the top 6, Spurs are nowhere near good enough. 17 games played, they've won just 1 of them. It's no wonder on the weekend they got battered. Luckily, Burnley took some points off of Chelsea because otherwise that gap would have been obscene. But City can now overtake them tonight and probably will do when they spank Bournemouth in Bournemouth. But Pato, you got to say, Liverpool were unplayable.
Liverpool were great. They hadn't won in 5 games going into this weekend, but they're now unbeaten in their last 9 Premier League games against Spurs. We could say that they actually deserved a win when they played them at White Hart Lane back in the autumn. But in this game, they got the win that they so richly deserved. They're unbeaten versus the top 6 teams in the Premier League this season. And Sadio Mane, like you say, it was a horrible day for Ben Davies, thanks to the little Senegalese. Seriously, the things he did to him, he tore him apart. It was like a David Attenborough documentary. It was graphic. It was NSFW. 50% of Liverpool's attacks in that first half came down Mane's side. 50%. Like, so they weren't going through the middle, they weren't going down the left, they just knew that Mane could get in behind time and time again. 2 goals in 138 seconds. Of course, this is the man who has the quickest hat-trick in Premier League history. And to compare his first 21 Liverpool games with Luis Suarez's first 21 Liverpool games, Mane, 11 goals, 4 assists, Suarez, 8 goals, 3 assists.
Oh my goodness.
So that does speak of good things for them. But Spurs, on the other hand, really fell apart, like Joe said. They spent more time behind by 2 goals in this game than they did in the whole of last season. They were behind by 2 goals for 72 minutes of this game. Last season, the only game in which they were behind by more than 1 goal was against Newcastle in the last day of the season. They spent 42 minutes behind. So what is happening? It's that away form that's hurting them because they're still the only Premier League side not to have lost a home game. But will they make the top 4, or are results like this gonna cost them? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Our final winners of the day come from the Principality. It's Monaco, as usual, top of Ligue 1, and they are playing scintillating football. They cannot stop scoring goals. Hammered Metz on the weekend, 5-0, and they now have a goal difference of plus 52.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if you combined 2nd place and 3rd place, they equal the same goal difference. That's how good Monaco have been this season. In this game on the weekend, they had 26 shots, Falcao, as usual, got on the scoreline, bagged 2. And a man that Pato's going to talk about on the weekend bagged 3 as well. I mean, the keeper had a worldie. This actually flattered Metz, this scoreline. Didilon, I can't pronounce his name either, but I'm going with Didilon. He made 8 saves.
Wow.
And there was one man in those Monaco ranks who ran absolutely riot. It's the next Thierry Henry, isn't it, Pato?
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Kylian Mbappe, the 18-year-old. He had trials at Chelsea and Real Madrid as a kid, and in this game, he netted a hat-trick. He had 5 shots. All of them were on target. He completed 19 passes. So he's pretty involved in play as well. He's got a goal every 100 minutes this season. He's also got 5 assists. Like I say, he's 18 years old. He's been involved in 9 goals this season. Now, the only teenager in Europe who's been involved in more is Borussia Dortmund's Ousmane Dembele, who's been involved in 12. So he has hit the ground running big time. It's his second senior hat-trick already. He got one against Rennes previously, and he's been linked to Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Man City, Man United, and Real Madrid. Everyone wants this little bastard. And if you watch his finishes, it genuinely is like watching Thierry Henry.
It's Thierry Henry.
It really is. It's frightening. But where do you think he's going to go? We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments below. And also remember to check out Transfer Talk tomorrow for a discussion of possible destinations. Our final losers are Sunderland, who lost 4-0 at home to Southampton. Now, Southampton are a very good side, but 4-0 is a drubbing at the Stadium of Light. And this is after beating Palace 4-0 away from home last week. Now, David Moyes showed his tactical genius after this game. He said, we didn't play well, not as well as last week. So,
wow.
He's absolutely,
won 4-0
he's nailed that. It was a very bad performance. The Stadium of Light was basically empty by 60 minutes.
Yeah.
They could have jumped up to 16th with a win here. And boy, do they need those points. It is getting tight at the bottom of the table. Southampton lost 6 of their last Premier League games before this as well. So they were there for the taking, in theory, but not for Sunderland's taking because they're shit.
Because, yeah, Sunderland are abysmal. They have all the smells of a relegated side. Honestly, they stink of relegation right now. If this side isn't playing in the Championship next season, I don't know what has happened. Because David Moyes is having a meltdown. Manolo Gabbiadini tore them apart in that first half. Obviously got 2 goals. He's now got 3 in his first 2 for Southampton, so he is playing very, very well. The first one, kind of scrappy, could have been a handball. David Moyes moaning. Second one, no doubt about it. Great turn, fantastic finish. Gabbiadini is actually the 2nd player in Southampton history to score in his first 2 Premier League games. And do you know who the first one was? Because he's a legend. He's an icon of the game, one of the biggest names in Premier League history.
Tell me.
It's Henri Camara back in 2005.
What a player.
What a player. But for Sunderland, you're a joke at the moment, a disgrace. Off to New York now. For the only time I've ever heard this, but David Moyes is taking his side cold weather training.
They're from Sunderland.
I don't know.
They're in fucking northeast.
Because he basically said that if they go to New York, it's so cold when they come back, they'll feel like Dubai.
Mate, they should come and train in here. The studio's fucking freezing.
It's got to be the worst logic I've ever heard. I can't wait for a snapped hammy there. But they now go to Everton in the next game, and then they've got Man City at home. In my book, they're going to be 6 points at least adrift after the Man City game. They're in real trouble. David Moyes is at the helm of a sinking ship, and he's the most least inspirational man I've ever seen at the helm of any ship. Time for some shout-outs now then, and you guys have been sending in your suggestions all weekend on Twitter. If you want to get involved next week, hit us up on these handles. First shout-out to Pablo. He says Chicharito and Leverkusen for thumping Frankfurt 3-0. Foxtrot says Bayern Munich with the late winners. They now go 7 points clear, of course. And Joe says Brisbane Roar, who beat Shanghai Shenhua in the Asian Cup last Thursday. So a great weekend for Brisbane Roar.
Yeah, shout-outs in the losers. Mongezi Madinani says the Orlando Pirates, who lost 6-0 against Mamelodi Sundowns. Obviously, that's in South Africa. Michael Silva, Exeter City, Joe, their run has come to an end.
Fucking hell.
They lost 3-0 to local rivals Plymouth, of all people, as well. But it has been a sensational run for them, so let's not be too harsh. And Michi, finally, who says Borussia Dortmund losing 2-1 away at Darmstadt. A very disappointing result for BVB, and it seems to have handed Bayern Munich the title.
So that's all we've got time for today, but make sure you get your predictions in for Bournemouth versus Manchester City tonight. It's going to be a close one. But Pato, what should they do next?
Head over to Eurofootball Daily and check out me and Chris Hamill discussing some of Europe's other big teams in the European Roundup.
And as ever, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. What was that clip?
Catch you next time.